Hello friends, welcome back to the new section of this course that is related to the Nodemcu. I hope you clearly understood the previous section that is for Arduino Uno. So friends, let's start with the basics of Nodemcu. It is once again an low cost open source electronics platform. It is one of the entry level board for all type of IoT applications. It is a combination of firmware and hardware, as the name suggests, Node and MCU. Node represents the firmware and MCU is nothing but microcontroller unit. Here for the firmware they are using the Lua scripting language, LUA. It is a type of scripting language which resides in the particular hardware. Major hardware used by the Nodemcu is ESP8266. It is 32-bit controller. ESP8266 is used in majority of the application where we need an wireless communication or Wi-Fi. It was developed by Specification. There are two types of board available in the market of the Nodemcu. One is the Nodemcu 0.9 and Nodemcu 1.0. The major difference between these two is Nodemcu 0.9 is blue color board, while Nodemcu 1.0 is of black color board. And Nodemcu 1.0 is an enhanced version of the board. So friends, this is all about the Nodemcu. Now let's see what are the reason we should go with the Nodemcu board. Some of the most important features of Nodemcu board is it is like Arduino hardware. It is having the same type of GPIO like Arduino. That means if you know Arduino board and if you know how to work with the GPIO, you can very easily understand and work with the Nodemcu. Another point is it has an integrated support for Wi-Fi SoC. So that indicates that Nodemcu is a device where we can easily find the Wi-Fi. We do not require any extra chip or extra head to connect with my board. It is half in the size compared to the Arduino. It is the half of the Arduino board in size. Compared to Arduino and other electronics board, it is a very low energy consumption board. It is simple but a smart device because we are having the Wi-Fi inside it. It is best board nowadays in market for prototype of any IoT product. Here you can see the front and back view of the Nodemcu board. It is also known as the hybrid board because it is a combination of two parts, the firmware and the hardware. As well as on the front view you can see it has mentioned that it is an Wi-Fi board. At the back of this it is mentioned that it is Nodemcu and some of the particular specifications or the steps how to install it onto the particular board. Now guys, check out its technical specification. I have categorized it into three major categories. One is the architecture, another is the GPIO, and the last one is the power. Let's start with the architectural technical specification. It is prepared with the Tensilia Extensa 32-bit LX106 board. It is having a clock frequency of 80 to 160 MHz. It is having an internal RAM 120 KB. It has 4 MB of external flash, and the most important part of this board is it is supported with 802.11 BGN. It is a Wi-Fi standard which are supported by this particular board. So friends, apart from the other technical specification in the architecture, you must remember this 802.11 BGN standard support. Also you must check or you must compare it with the Arduino that it is having very huge set of memory available compared to Arduino. That is another reason why people are going towards the Nodemcu. Now regarding the GPIO, it has the 17 GPIO pins. It is quite similar to the Arduino Uno. We will see all this in the future section. Regarding power consumption, it is taking 2.5 volt to 3.6 volt. I am talking about the volt, and 80 milliampere current. So friends, if you want to use a Nodemcu, you can use the same power adapter which you are using with the Arduino Uno. On board, it is providing 3.3 volt with 600 milliampere. So these are some of the basic specification of our Nodemcu board, but it is more specific to some of the category. Please remember some of the basic features of Nodemcu which will help you a lot in the future. Now it's time to work with the actual Nodemcu board, and for that we are supposed to use some particular IDE. Now here again we are going to use the Arduino IDE. As I told in the previous section that Arduino IDE is most commonly used by majority of the prototyping platforms. So here also we will go with the Arduino IDE. How to download, from where to download, and how to start working with Arduino IDE, that I have already explained in the previous section. So here I suggest to download and install the Arduino IDE. Now the most important thing is Arduino IDE do not have this particular board, that is Nodemcu, in its list. So we are supposed to perform some of the basic steps to add the Nodemcu into the list of Arduino IDE. By performing that steps, we are configuring Nodemcu with Arduino IDE. Before we start the steps, here I have mentioned one URL which we have to use to install the Nodemcu into Arduino IDE. Please remember or note down this for your reference. Now, as you know how to install and how to start the Arduino IDE, just start the Arduino IDE, then go to the file menu and then click on the preferences. As it is shown in the screen, you are supposed to click on the preferences. As soon as you click on the preferences, it will open a pop-up menu in which there are a lot of information, but as it is mentioned in the red box, you are supposed to specify the URL which was shown on the screen. I just told you that you remember this URL for your reference. That URL you must specify over here, and after that you click on OK. After this, you are supposed to go to the board manager. To reach at the board manager, you are supposed to go through the tools menu, then go to the board. In previous section, we have selected the Arduino board. So here you click on the Arduino board, then you have the board manager, the step number 3. Now, as soon as you click on the board manager, you are supposed to find out the Nodemcu boards from the list. Previous steps indicates your Arduino IDE that this is the particular URL from where you are supposed to take the list of the available boards. And in our case, it is nothing but Nodemcu boards. As soon as you click on the board manager, new pop-up window will appear in which you are supposed to specify that ESP8266, which is highlighted into the particular red box. As soon as you mention the ESP8266, the another section will appear where some of the details related to ESP8266 community is mentioned, and here it will also show you the number of available versions, and as soon as you select the version and click on the install, it will install the particular boards to work with your Arduino IDE. That is nothing but a kind of integration between the Nodemcu boards and the Arduino IDE. So friends, please follow the steps properly, otherwise you do not have the Nodemcu boards into the list. After following the proper step to install the Nodemcu board into the Arduino IDE, you can check the list of the available boards of Nodemcu from the tools menu and the board particular area. Here I have mentioned 2 boards are available as soon as you complete the proper procedure. Once you select the Nodemcu, no matter whether it is the 0.9 or 1.0, after selection, after clicking any of the board, if you check other details, it has many information like built-in LED, upload speed, CPU frequency, etc. etc. As of now, we are not going to change, or we are not going to go into the depth of all this, which are as of now not required. Along with this, we should not forget to specify the particular port at which our Nodemcu is connected with laptop or desktop, and that port option is available under this particular menu. Here you can see when I have connected my Nodemcu with my laptop and desktop, it is showing me the COM port 11. So I need to select that COM port 11 when I want to start working with the Nodemcu. So friends, this is all about the basic settings of Arduino IDE for particular Nodemcu boards. As well as we have seen the basics and the technical specification of Nodemcu, its benefits and its usage in the IoT application platform.